Carol thought her life was over after she had just lost 2 dogs. Eventually, she decided to go to the shelter where she noticed a dog named Blue. He was sitting in the corner, not like the others, quiet, with his eyes on the ground. He went up to him and saw a sign that said, "Found on the street with his leg torn off." At that moment, her eyes filled up and she wanted to adopt him, to never let him out of her sight again. A bond had formed between him and her. She immediately took Blue home. The first day was very quiet. He was not interested in anything around him, the toy balls, the bones. He didn't eat the food Carol gave him either. He just stood in the corner of the living room, tears coming out of his eyes. When his leg had been broken earlier, he'd stumble and stare at her hopelessly. It was like he was lost. Mornings were different for Carol now, because that day, someone new was with her, quiet, attentive, and strangely emotional. He sat in the center of the house with his head down, but his eyes were full. Carol didn't know what to say the first time she met those eyes. He looked human, like he was trying to understand, trying to figure it out. But that morning, Carol realized that Blue's eyes were wet. He was crying silently. He was really tearing up. The corners of his lips were trembling and glistening drops were glistening in his eye sockets. "I was a big, strong dog crying. Can a dog cry?" He throws him a ball, but Blue gives him this look like, "What's this?" And then he quietly climbs up on the couch, tears streaming down his face. Blue's first days were strange. He didn't bark or purr, he just watched. He didn't touch anything as he walked around the house. Not the toys, not even the carpet. When the next shipment arrived, Carol put it in the living room. Blue tore it to pieces when he saw it. Carol was very touched to see him like that. It was his first behavior in the house. When he noticed her, he thought I was going to be angry, so he backed away. He hugged her gently, and they hugged for a long time that day. He was also carefully examining the Legos that came in the parcel. He liked it. He placed his leg nicely. Then he started pushing the toys with his nose. That's when Carol realized something. This dog hadn't just changed homes. He was trying to bury a past. She wanted to know his past. Blue, they called him, was a Pitbull. He immediately tested with a scientist, and he had a huge American bully gene in his genes. He was a mixed breed. He found out that his former owner had broken his leg. He just left him on the street. Carol decided that day she was going to save him, give him a whole new life. Meanwhile, she realized that Blue loved to wear clothes. She dressed him in different clothes each time. Blue seemed to feel happier in the warm fabric. Carol's attention was wonderful for him, and that was the day. Carol woke up and the sound coming from the garden made her look up and see Blue walking with such excitement. It was as if something had changed everywhere. It was the first time she'd ever seen him so excited and cheerful. It was the first time she'd ever forgotten that moment. And then he hugged Carol. Even Carol had tears in her eyes. When they entered the house, Carol fed Blue for the first time with her own hands. She was so surprised. What had happened to Blue all of a sudden? She couldn't figure out how he had gotten so used to her, but she was going to keep doing what she was doing and make Blue even happier. Blue's foot was better now. The bone and tissue in it had recovered. Now they went for walks together every morning and ate Carol's food on the sofa. He even made a mess and spoiled her. They were so happy. Every morning they left the house hugging each other and playing with toys together. The tears of the first day, the despair, sadness, and tears in their eyes were gone. Only excitement took its place. I think Carol was succeeding. She was bringing a life back to life. And from then on, it became their ritual. You can't step outside without a hug. One day during a walk, Blue met a boy. Carol felt uneasy inside when the boy approached her, but the boy held out his hand. Blue bowed his head. Then he did something unexpected. He wagged his tail 4 times. This wasn't just an act, it was a celebration of a rebuilt trust. Blue approaches everyone he meets with enthusiasm, and people's reactions can be really different. But despite all her quirks and worries, Carol accepts and loves Blue for who he is. She now knows that he is not just a pet, he is the most important part of her family, and she can't exist without him. He is a fragile but strong soul with feelings, who understands emotions, and Carol now knows Blue is not just a part of her life. He is the heart of the house.